All right, looks like we're live now. Oh, as right on cue here, let me go ahead and bring him in as we're bringing it in.
Let's
Welcome
go.
everyone to our next episode of Count the Bucket. As CJ is joining in here right on time, I'm gonna see if I can move up Nick. Put CJ down there while he's loading. There he is. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Nick, CJ, how you guys doing today?
I mentioned it earlier. We are watching a massacre happen right now.
It hurts my heart too.
This is one of the saddest things I've seen in a while, man. This is tough to watch. Tough to watch. If you're a Suns fan, at least. If you're a basketball fan, it's the greatness of Luka.
I mean, that's kind of one thing that me and Nick were talking about while we were waiting to start the show was like me as a Suns fan, a big Booker fan, Bubble Booker, who has popped today. He has deflated.
Yeah.
I hate seeing this massacre that's going on. And what we're talking about on the massacre is that the Suns are down by almost 40 points now. I'm not for sure it's commercial right now, but it's like 87 to 39. I'm just going to throw that number out somewhere close to that at least. So, excuse me, it's game 7, winner take all matchup at Phoenix, and the Suns are no-show. I think they're still stuck in the locker room. I haven't been able to watch most of the game. I just now turned on third quarter here, so I can't wait to hear you guys' opinion on what's all going on in this. But as a Suns fan, this is pitiful. I want to dive in deep probably in a little bit as far as like Chris Paul, his legacy, and what all's going on, where all he's played and everything. But I hate to watch this game. But as an NBA fan and seeing the birth of Luka basically taking over the NBA now, granted, you still have Giannis not completely taking over. Don't jump me on my words on that. But this is great to see actually scoring out, showing it's 85 to 47. So 38 points. I said 40, so I was really close. You have to love this as an NBA fan to see this game going on the way that it is, just because Dallas, this series, every home team won their game. And then now this game in a winner-take-all, Dallas on the road, a big game against Chris Paul and Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns, and just flat out blowing them out. Like, were you guys surprised by this? I think is an easy answer.
So let me just say this. Before the series started, I originally picked Phoenix to win in 6. But I don't know what happened. For some reason, after I saw how Dallas dominated, I was like, you know what? Dallas could probably win this. And I stuck with it. I said it on my podcast yesterday, Hoop Truth, is I said Dallas in 7. And while I am right now, I didn't expect this. I definitely didn't expect Booker to not show up. I didn't expect CP3 to not show up, DeAndre Ayton. You know, it's bad when the Suns had 27 points at half and Luka Doncic himself had 27 points alone. Like that's just insane to me. So Luka's definitely getting off. Spencer Dinwiddie has been pretty well. Jalen Brunson, Reggie Bullock, Frank Ntilikina, the rest of these guys. So even though Luka's definitely getting off, you know, it's definitely been a team collective thing, which is why they're up 40 as of right now. But it's bad. It's definitely bad. I don't think anybody expected Phoenix to play like this, considering that they had the best record in the league throughout the entire season. A lot of people expected them to be finals bound again. This is just sad. Like, this is just atrocious. This is sad, you know, especially being at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where the Suns go from here, because it's a wrap.
They're going home.
Yeah.
They're going home. And CJ, I want to hear to you on this too, kind of going with that, like, because, you know, they didn't pay Ayton this year. That's going to be something that goes on in the offseason, possibly what they're going to do with that deal there moving forward. Chris Paul, I think, is still signed for another year with them, at least maybe 2, I think it is actually. The contracts is one thing I never can get into. That's just way above my head how it all works. So the Suns are a good team. We all know that. I mean, they're the best record in – that poor kid's asleep. I'd passed out too watching this game. But just thinking about what's the next move for them as far as how do they get better? How are they going to improve this team? Because obviously there's no coming back from this. Let's just be honest. Like, this game's over with.
Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of what we've seen in the course of the NBA for the longest, man. When you look at the top players and how they win a championship, it's usually not a great backcourt being the 2 best players. Usually have a wing and a versatile big, or of course back in the day, more of an inside dominant big. Of course, the game has changed, so you see big starting to shoot a little bit more from the outside. But we saw McCollum and Dame couldn't, as a only real duo from the backcourt that we've seen that's been able to, win a championship here as of late is Golden State. And then for them to become dynastic, they had to get KD, a versatile, 7-footer. So, I mean, it's just the formula just continues to, show itself. For me, even just this series, honestly, throughout the whole playoffs, more importantly in the second round, you're really starting to see, the importance of the three ball. We're going to get into the Celtics and the Bucks in a little bit, but they were horrendous from three to this afternoon, and we're seeing the same thing right now in Phoenix. So, you need 3-point shooters, you need that spacing, and you need guys to be able to knock down shots at key moments. And if that shot is not going, it could be a long night, like how it is right now in Phoenix. So, So for me, I always felt like Ayton needed to be the second best player in order for them to have the success that they wanted, ultimately, which is the championship. And he's just not that guy, at least not right now. I'm just not seeing it. This is a series where they don't have a dominant big that's protecting the rim in Dallas. They have more, floor spacers, stretch fives, if you will. But Ayton just hadn't been able to dominate in the paint and be a factor. So if Ayton can't be that second best player outside of Booker, it's just going to be rinse and repeat.
Do you think this looks bad for Ayton, considering that last year he was supposed to get that extension, and then of course Phoenix didn't give it to him? Do you think that this makes him look bad now, and it kind of makes Phoenix look good, or at least the front office look good?
Yeah,
I even think what CJ was talking about, but before this series even started, Ayton was going to eat up on this, and I think the first game he had 30 points on 12 shots. Something ridiculous. He was balling out, and looking here, obviously he's fell off the face of the earth, it looks like. So, I think it really shows that he struggles on this. To me, the Suns have a good team still. Obviously they had
without question.
So, and even hearing CJ talk about, you can't have two good backcourts. What does Dallas have? They really only have one all-star or one star on this team. And I kind of want to get into that, what was their turning point in getting rid of Porzingis, and everyone else just kind of fits all roles there, I think. But, excuse me. I don't know how you really improve the Suns. It's kind of like my Heat. They're talking about these superstars may go there, may go here, and all this stuff, but that unit is so good together, all the role players and everything, you're going to lose positions to get another superstar or something to that form. So I don't know. Do you go for someone else other than Ayton? Do you try to go away from that, or do you try to keep developing him?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like James Jones, those guys in the front office, they have a lot of, they're going to have a lot of questions going into this offseason. They could look at it like, just had a bad game. We're still a great team, got 64 W's in the regular season. And, sometimes these things happen. Back to your point about, the Mavericks, and they kind of have a backcourt, but Luka's a point guard, but he's like 6'8", so he's kind of like that, that wing.
He is both superstars.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's like that guard, kind of he's like LeBronish a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He has
Kevin
the
Durant.
size.
We'll go with that. We'll go with Kevin Durant. We won't say LeBron.
I know that, I see what you but he has that ability, and then also,
right.
You got to give Jason Kidd a lot of credit, man. What he's done schematically in terms of how they play defense. They've been in. Really, Willie Green showed the formula again in the Pelicans series. Be physical with Chris Paul. Force him left. Take away the airspace so he's not able to get those mid-range shots that he's so accustomed to getting. Closing out, getting rebounds, for a team, again, that, has Bertans and Kleber at their five. They have the ability to get rebounds. Doncic obviously is really good at getting defensive rebounds as well and starting to break on offense for them. But it's been a team effort. And again, I question, who was going to be that other guy next to Luka. I think that question still is going to be still a big question for me as they advance to the Western Conference Finals when they go up against the Warriors, because we know they have three guys that could get it done on a consistent basis. So that it's still going to be not an issue, but something to look for as they advance. And but right now, you got Brunson, Dinwiddie. I mean, those guys have really stepped up and made some big plays. And that's why you see these Suns fans looking kind of sad right now at the footprint.
They were booing at halftime, like right at halftime, they were booing them like as they were going to the locker room. But I want to ask y'all this because this literally just came to my mind. Like, so which one do you think is worse? This game 7, like fallout with the Suns, or the Ben Simmons thing that happened last year?
That's a good question, man. That's a good question. I'm gonna say, man. I mean, the Ben Simmons thing. The Hawks really didn't have. No one. I thought the Sixers were going to win that series.
I did too,
pretty easily. And then for them to fold like that, but right now, the way they're getting blasted at home. I'm gonna say, I guess maybe just because we're in the moment, I'm gonna say Phoenix right now because they did win 64 games in the regular season. I know the Sixers were the number 1 seed too last year. A lot of people forget about that, which is crazy. With the non-shooter as their second best player, but I'm gonna go with Phoenix, man. I mean, I thought they would really advance and face Nick's team over there in Golden State.
Hey, as a Warriors fan, I'm happy.
Yeah, I bet.
As a Warriors fan, which one would you rather play? The Dallas?
Oh, Dallas, without question. Like, because here's the thing, though. Like, I know that Looney had I think he had 22 rebounds or whatever in Game 6, but we're still so undersized. Like, I'm not trying to go up against Ayton, Bismack Biyombo, JaVale McGee, and a lot of these tall big guys. Because we even have problems against Memphis going up against Jaren Jackson, Steven Adams, Brandon Clark, the rest of these guys. So I'm definitely happy that we're definitely going to be seeing Phoenix in the next round.
I mean, I'm watching.
Or excuse me, Dallas. My bad, not Phoenix.
Right. And Dallas, they look like they're really going 50%, and it's still just so fluently open for them. Like, I mean, granted, I'm sure that's the fourth quarter, 10 minutes to go in the game. They could care less now. It's like, I mean, we're done. So I did not see this happening, guys. This breaking my heart. So, yeah, I'm just going to go back there. To me, this is the worst for the Suns because this was the number 1 team in the whole NBA as far as record this year. And to have your game at home where you have Chris Paul, who has been a legend, Booker, who has been dominant at home, to not even have 60 points yet. I say have 59 right now. 60 points yet in the fourth quarter with less than 10 minutes to go in the game. And you're down by 40 points, it seems like, right now. I mean, they just fell apart. Like, this is – I mean, it's not worse than 3-1 and Doc Rivers and everything, but my goodness.
I think to a degree you got to point the finger at CP3 because CP was dominant in those first 2 games, particularly in the fourth quarter of Game 2. He was killing Luka Doncic in that drop coverage. And then the rest of the series, he just wasn't really effective offensively. Not saying that he wasn't dictating the offense for them, but offensively, as far as scoring, I think he had he had 5 in Game 4, and I think he had 7 in Game 5 or something like that. So it was from Game 4 on, he's kind of been a no-show offensively, which pretty much does play a role in my opinion, and why Phoenix hasn't really been as good as they were in those first 2 games.
Do you think fatigue just set in with this team with him?
I saw Reggie Miller. I saw Reggie Miller say something like that, and I mean everybody's tired, bro. I mean, I can't. But
he's 36, 37, I think now, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why I even say that, and didn't even know Reggie Miller said it. That's how smart I am. No, is some of the games that I did watch of them, because the teams that I try to watch was the Suns and the Heats whenever they played. The most games that I would try to make a big effort to watch. And teams wouldn't pick up Chris Paul full court a lot of the times, but then the teams that would pick him up full court almost made him be a no-show in the game. And I almost felt like, well, he's having a harder time physically maintaining that because of that extra man guarding him the full 94 feet, whatever it is. That I think Dallas has did that, and then even Pelicans did that quite a bit in games, and he was a no-show in those games. So I want to say Father Time has just kind of caught up to them in this. But with Booker, you would think, and even Monty, who I think is a phenomenal coach, would come up with a way to just say, Chris Paul, don't even worry about bringing the ball up, just going up the court. You got Booker who can do that too. So I don't know. I just feel like this has been a little bit of that possibly is fatigue for him?
It could, yeah.
The way that I look at it is, okay, so Chris Paul and LeBron James are the same age. Obviously, we know that LeBron is by far the best player on that Lakers team. So let's say, for instance, that they were in this position, like in the same position where they're in the second round and they're getting cooked the way that they are. I think that we could use that excuse on LeBron, considering that, the load that he has to carry. CP, even though he is one of the biggest components to this team, he's not the number one option in my opinion. It's Devin Booker, obviously, as far as scoring wise. So that takes a lot of pressure off of CP to just dictate the offense, be the playmaker, place everybody else in a position for success on the floor. So I guess you could say fatigue does play a role, but I don't want to give CP that excuse in my opinion, because he was phenomenal in the first few games. So right. It's like, for a guy that's still looking for his first championship, you got to figure it out.
And I agree. I mean, I'm not trying to say that it's at this point, no. No,
without question, no.
No, you can go ride the banana boat and you still ain't winning a championship, I don't think now. But I don't know. I don't want to say fatigue is like the excuse of why it happened. Like, oh, well, we tried everything we could. Even watching him on defense here a little bit, again, the game is pretty much over. Like, he looks tired. Now, he's professional. He's way more shape than I am. But you know what? As mad as I hate to say it, let's not just stay on the Suns and how bad they played. Let's give credit to Dallas. I mean, they look good.
Shout out to Jason Kidd as well. Jason Kidd has been a phenomenal coach throughout this season. Yeah,
I want to ask you all, what do you all think the changing point? Because mid-season, Dallas probably wasn't even going to make the playoffs. We know the trade of Porzingis. They get Dinwiddie to come over. Jason Kidd takes over as coaching, not mid-season, but for the whole year. What do you all think is the turning point, or what do you all think is the X factor of what's going on here? And you can't say Luka in this, obviously.
But well, here's the thing. In my opinion, I think that this type of style or this formula for Luka works because they try to make it work. Having two all-stars in I don't know if Porzingis was an all-star, but he was all-star caliber. But having those two guys paired together, right, and try to see if they can make something happen as far as being a championship contender. Unfortunately, it never worked out. Porzingis just wasn't the guy that we all expected. Even though he did have good showing in Washington for a few moments of the season. But he never became the guy that we all expect him to be. And I'll be honest, like once Porzingis got traded, then of course you get Spencer Dinwiddie, you get Davis Bertans, and you get like a few other packages. I saw a different Luka in my opinion. I saw a Luka that was way more comfortable. He's playing with a lot of role guys who are ready. It kind of reminds me, in my opinion, of probably LeBron and like you knew I was going there. You knew it reminds me of LeBron, in the early Cleveland days, when they had they had Daniel Gibson, they had Larry Hughes and the rest of those guys, just like a lot of role players who could like play alongside him and just be ready, whenever. So I guess maybe that formula for Luka, just because he is so super versatile, he can score, he can distribute the rock, he can rebound. Maybe that formula works for them, and that's what we're seeing right now.
How far can this formula take them, though?
Oh, in my opinion, I don't know if this can get them a championship, in my opinion, but it definitely can get them far in the playoffs.
Because honestly, I didn't think LeBron. I can't honestly act like I thought you was going LeBron. I thought you was going Westbrook, because this reminds me of the Thunder Westbrook. One guy does everything, and the other guys are role players, which can't get you a championship.
Yeah, a little bit. It does look like that. I think Luka's just a way better player than Westbrook also.
Definitely.
So that's a little bit of the difference there. And I think, and then to answer your first question, they bought in defensively. They bought in. I remember watching the game against the Warriors. Like the Warriors were up like 20-something. It was like a Sunday night game. And then they came back and got the W the way they fought back in Golden State. I'm pretty sure they're going to show that game a couple times.
I wanted to forget that game.
as we preview this, I know Draymond was not in that game during that time. He was out with the calf strain, but
that's true.
That's a game that I'm pretty sure they'll keep running over the next week or so as this Western Conference Finals gets going. But yeah, they bought in defensively.
LeBron James,
vanilla LeBron, yeah, something like that. But yeah, they bought in defensively. That's really what it was. They got some guys, Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, Even Luka to a certain extent. I mean, we know he's not the greatest defender. He's not Gary Payton, or Gary Payton II for that matter. But he's trying out there. As you see the effort, like Nick talked about, they kind of eliminated that drop coverage, started playing up on the screen and making someone else beat you, and that's been a great formula. I mean, you got to remember, man, Jason Kidd's one of the best defensive point guards of all time, time. If we remember the lobs to Vince Carter and all that back in the day, but in terms of getting steals and locking up, he was just as great on that end as well. So, I mean, when you have guys that buy in on that end, we know offense is not a problem in this league. The offense is not a problem in this era. So if you're able to, lock in defensively, you're going to see success. And that's why we're seeing this, like you said, like you guys have been saying, this massacre right now in Phoenix.
Shout out to Frank Ntilikina as well, man. Frank Ntilikina, in my opinion, has kind of like rejuvenated his career to a degree in Dallas now, especially after everything that happened in New York. Not saying that, that he's like a all-star caliber in the making, but he's definitely a good role player so far for Dallas.
Yeah, solid role play. I mean, Dinwiddie got 30, bro. I mean, if you would have told me Dinwiddie had 30 in a Game 7 in Phoenix, I'd be like, of course they'd win. But if you told me Devin Booker would go, 0 for 9 or 0 for 10 or whatever he was, before he got his first bucket. Yeah, it's but yeah, like I said, Dallas, like you guys have been saying, Dallas deserves the credit. They deserve the credit. Mm-hmm. They came onto the Phoenix's home court and got it done.
Right now, Luka has 35. Dinwiddie has 30. That is 35 points or 65 points. Phoenix only has 68 points.
Yeah, it just came out. Yeah, they just came out completely flat. We kind of saw this with the Sixers too. I hope we get into that because I got some comments on the bearded one. But
the bearded
one. Yeah,
we got to get into it. We got to get into all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so let's just go ahead but hold that just a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump a little bit and preview what we think the Dallas and Warriors will look like, and then we'll back up and go to the East side. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I know Nick is going to be a bias over here and say Warriors in 3 probably. So CJ, what do you think is going to turn out in this series? Because with this here, I think Dallas wins 1 or 2 games maybe.
Oh yeah, they do.
For sure. I think they could get 1 or 2 games. The thing for me when it comes to Dallas against Golden State is, just the amount of actions that Golden State runs off the ball. The off ball screens for Curry and Clay, that movement throughout the whole entire game. Can they stay conditioned enough to continue to withstand that? And again, I saw some flaws.
I miss Westbrook.
That's good. I like that, Logan.
I saw some flaws with Golden State. It turned the ball over way too much. I know. I even saw Nick tweeting it a couple of times. He was fed up with it. Defensively, sometimes it could be a little lackadaisical. They struggle with size, so rebounding is going to be key. And even though the Mavericks don't have a big, other than Powell's really like their only inside guy. They find a way to crash the glass. All those guys crash the glass, so that's going to be a big factor in that game. But I think Golden State will win. We'll go 7 as well. Would not be surprised. Luka could easily get 3 40-point games and they get a victory. But I like Golden State in 6 in that matchup. I think they continue to keep it going. It didn't look pretty at times against Memphis, even when Ja got hurt and was out. But I'm gonna go with Golden State.
All right, Nick, let's go ahead and hear you.
So, as a Warriors fan, I'll be honest. CJ alluded to this, man. I was watching Game 6. I was honestly scared we was gonna blow through a lead. I was that scared. Honestly, because we barely beat them in Game 4. We barely got through that game, and everybody knows what happened in Game 5. I'm not even going to get into what happened in Game 5. And Game 6, it's crazy because Clay was definitely doing his thing. Obviously Game 6 Clay, but like CJ alluded to, turnovers, outlet passes were just oh my god, they were just driving me insane. That game, I mean, I know that we took over in the fourth quarter, but for most of that game, the reason why Memphis kept it close was because we were just super careless with the ball. We definitely have to clean that up. But the good thing about Memphis, because they're so young, they weren't able to capitalize off of those turnovers. So going into the series, we're going up against a guy like Luka Doncic, in a player like with that offensive talent, it's not going to be the same result in my opinion. So we're definitely going to have to clean that up. And just overall, we're just going to have to need, in my opinion, we're going to need more production out of Klay, because I know Klay had a good game 6, but throughout most of this series, he really wasn't that great in my opinion, particularly in game 2, which he cost that game for us late in the fourth quarter. So honestly, I'm going to say Warriors is 6. I definitely feel like Dallas is definitely going to give them a fight, especially once the series transitions to Dallas for game 3 and 4. So it's definitely not going to be like an easy matchup for the Warriors. Like Dallas is definitely going to give them a fight.
One last thing. First off, Luka's going to eat in that paint. We saw Job. It was food in that paint every single game. It's going to be a different style. The way he gets to the paint, he's going to slow it down. He's going to go to the basket a lot. I mean, so he'll get his occasional step back threes that went in tonight. But in terms of going to the basket, he should have a field day. And I'm pretty sure that's what Jason Kidd is going to tell these guys. Dribble penetration to create the threes, the wide open threes, break down that Golden State defense, and then try to create some easy shots for some of the other guys. But it's still in all, I think Golden State, they have the experience from their core guys, and I think that's going to help them get this W and advance to the finals.
So who do y'all think Luka will be guarding? Will Luka be guarding Klay for the most part?
Wiggins, probably.
Wiggins, okay.
Yeah,
I can see that, because I ain't gonna lie, like Luka's gonna be really fatigued if he has to chase Klay around in those for 3-pointers.
Yeah, they're gonna put Finney Smith and Bullock on the Splash Brothers for sure. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm actually watching the NBA app where this game is actually free, so it's a weird camera angle that I'm doing here. But it was showing Ayton during that timeout or whatever was going on, and he was sitting there kind of joking around a little bit. I couldn't handle that right now. Like that's to me is the worst look ever. Don't you dare on the bench be smiling or anything in this big blowout. That's how I would be. I don't know about you guys. This is kind of just a side story there. Sorry.
And I think that's why a lot of people are like so mad at Phoenix, because I don't know if y'all ever like pay attention, but like some people like post videos on YouTube like pregame them, dancing to like them dancing and them enjoying each other, having fun. So a lot of people don't like that. I don't have a problem with it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's always cool to get loose before the games, but a lot of people don't like that. So I guess you could say maybe it's like, having too much fun or whatever, because obviously we're seeing it now, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's just it's before the game. I mean, all that matters what happens in between those lines when the ball goes up. So
yeah, to be before the game's fine. Whatever gets you in your groove, get in your groove. But when the game's on, you're down almost as much as you've scored. No, there's no plan. Like I'm in the era where if you lost in grade school, like the whole bus ride home, the coach would be like, "There's no talking. I don't care. Like we're not stopping and eating or anything. You don't say a word. We're driving home. You dwell on that loss," which it never did any good. But like we would not talk at all. We'd have to run when we got home to the gym.
Apparently, I'm looking on Twitter now, and apparently, Reggie Miller and Kevin Harlan are like making excuses for Chris Paul right now. I got the game on mute, so I don't know exactly what they're saying. But
yeah, I don't have it playing either.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to hear it, man.
I'm not either.
Now, if he went out on his shield, was aggressive. And tried to make it happen, and they were still getting blasted, and you saw the effort there. Then yeah, of course. I mean, you're gonna say, but from the jump, it was a 20-point lead pretty early here. So it's like, they just came out flat, and from all their best guys. And again, like I said, are you gonna pay Ayton $150 million, $135 million for the next 5 years? Are you gonna give him that contract? But you need to hope that he can be a top 5. He has to be like a top 5 center if they want to if you want to win a championship, hands down. I mean, if that doesn't happen, then
he has 5 points.
The Suns' big three only have 26 points combined.
Luka had that in the half.
That's 1 point less than what they had to have. That's crazy.
And it's a closeout game. Like it's a game 7. Like. You can make an excuse. And like I was saying earlier, Chris Paul, I think he is tired. But I'm sorry, it's game 7. This is what you're paid millions of dollars to do. You suck it up. Like, you play through it.
And CP's the veteran, though. So it's like, he's been in these situations on numerous occasions. He was in this position. I remember when San Antonio played New Orleans, and I think that was 2008 or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think there's another few other game 7s that he's played as well. So this isn't new to Chris Paul. And that's the thing about it. Like, this may be new to Booker. This may be new to Ayton and the rest of these guys, but this isn't a new atmosphere for Chris Paul. He's been in these situations on many occasions, and then you're at home at the same time. You're at home.
Right. But even if that is the case, this is completely new to Dallas, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no.
So, I mean,
they played Game 7 last year against the Clippers.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still, this round. Like, I don't think it was in the second round either. It was the first round, wasn't it?
Yeah, first round.
Yeah, first round.
So, I mean, this is to go to the Western Conference Finals, and you're not even showing up. Like, it's just flat out pitiful. That's all you can say. So, I think the Warriors actually will win in 5 games. I only want to give Dallas 1 game. I'm going to make that leap on there and be a little bit bold on there. I just feel like, I mean, look what they just did here, and I'm still doubting them. But I'm just going to go Golden State in 5. There, I said it. I have no reason other than the veteran play of the Warriors. And
are you not a Luka believer, Michael?
I mean, I am. But I just
have to be after tonight, man.
Oh, yeah, without question.
Sheesh.
So I'm just going to dial it back a little bit. So just in case he doesn't show up, I look smart here. So that's why. Because you always say Warriors in 6, right? I mean, it's just one more game.
I'll go Warriors in 6.
Okay.
I'll say 6. I could see 7, man. I can
see 7 too. I really
they're I mean, because the Warriors have times where they're sloppy, and they played 3 games against the Grizzlies without
Didn't they
Ja.
have like 27 turnovers one game?
Game 5, I think it was. Yeah. Game 5 was, I think, when they got blasted. Yeah, I mean, again, it's like they show moments, but then again, those were moments without Steve Kerr coaching, and that's a factor. I know I know Steve Kerr always gets the look who he's coaching narrative, but we saw the difference in those few games.
That's what I tried to tell him.
Yeah, we saw the difference between Mike Brown versus Steve Kerr. It was night and day. So it's going to be a nice little chess battle between Kidd and Kerr in this Western Conference Finals. It's going to be a great series either way. A lot of high-powered offense, a bunch of stars. I can't wait.
Sure.
All right, so let's go ahead.
I was about to say we got to transition to this next series, man, because I'm sad. I'm sad.
It's yours. Go ahead. Why are you sad?
I wish Chris Middleton was healthy. I really wish that he was healthy, honestly, because besides Giannis for the Bucks, there was really no offense. Drew Holiday shot poorly. Grayson Allen couldn't find a bucket. Pat Connaughton, Bobby Portis couldn't shoot the ball in the rock. It sucks, man, but you definitely got to give credit to Boston. Boston came prepared. Grant Williams was stroking it today. Pause. Grant Williams was definitely doing his thing. Definitely doing his thing out there. I think he had like 27 on the day. So it was definitely a collective for the Celtics as far as them getting this win compared to Milwaukee, who, of course, basically was a one-man show. Shout out to Giannis. Giannis had a dominant game, though, which is crazy. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. So I actually picked Milwaukee to win this game. I was arguing with everybody on Twitter, and everybody on Twitter just shut me up, basically. But I'm just gonna say this here: the Celtics, they have a really high chance of winning it all this year. They have a really high chance. Yes.
I would agree with you just because I feel like no matter what they do, everything goes right for them. Like they can have so many things go wrong, and then all of a sudden it's just going to break free that it just looks like the basketball gods want them to win it. But I think it's going to be a great matchup. I think it's going to be a hard-fought defensively on both sides. I'm really excited about the East on this. I think I'm probably more intrigued in the East than I am the West in this next series.
Again, it sounds so simple, but it's so true, man. It's a make or miss league, man. That's really what it is. And man, I tweeted the Milwaukee Bricks because that's exactly what it was today against the Celtics. 4 for 27.
Whoa, there's a fight going on right now. Oh, sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, yeah, no, you're good. 4 for 27 from 3 from Milwaukee. Look, Alfred Payton, it's the only time he could get on the court is garbage time when they're getting blown out. It's tough.
I don't know how that guy keeps getting on a roster. I just don't understand it.
I don't know. But the Bucks, They, I agree with Nick. It sucks that Middleton is not in there, and I would have loved to see that series if Middleton was there. And Giannis, he did what he could, but the other guys around him just weren't able to knock down shots. And Drew's just too consistent to be a number 2 guy. Way too inconsistent to be a number 2 guy. Just he'll have one good shot, and then he'll think he's like Curry, and then just do a pull-up 3, contested 3, and it's just a bad look. It's a bad look, man. So Celtics, dangerous. They rely on their defense first and foremost. They got 2 guys that can score 30. They got a high IQ player, used to be a number 1 guy, and Al Horford. He understands how to play the game. Hopefully Robert Williams could get healthy. They didn't even really need him in this game, and really not too much in this series. I think he's definitely going to play a factor. And guarding Bam, that's going to be an interesting matchup. I can't wait to see that in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's going to be an ultimate chess match between Spoelstra and Udoka defensively. How both of these guys scheme up and try to take things away. Man, I think the Celtics are going to go. I think I had the Celtics Warriors in the finals. That was my pick before the playoffs. And
really
started at Celtics Warriors. And
Michael's a Heat fan. I don't know if he likes this.
Oh no! Listen. I like the Heat and I like the Suns, but at the end of the day, I just like basketball. It's fine. I can handle it as long as it's not LeBron.
I just feel like when you break that series down, Miami does have the depth. Off the bench, you got Oladipo and Hero. Any one of those guys could come in and have a big night, and they do have home field advantage, which is a big thing. But I mean, they're going to throw Tucker and Butler on Tatum. That's a given, obviously. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, but I just feel like they have 2 guys that could get you 30, and Butler played phenomenal against Philadelphia. I feel like people aren't getting that's not being talked about enough. How he played.
Oh yeah, without question.
Yeah, he was phenomenal every single game. Every game he had a great game.
There's for some reason he always plays great against them. I don't know why.
They chose Tobias Harris over me.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
I love it that was on camera too.
Exactly.
Oh,
that's exactly what it was right there.
Yeah, that's
terrible.
All it was.
Terrible decision, man.
Yep, they went with a discount. That's all they did.
But let's go ahead and get into it, man. Like this Miami Philly series, because Harden's cooked. He's cooked. I'm sorry. For him to have no points in the second half, only 2 shot attempts, it's ridiculous. Like, I was watching the fourth quarter. I'm watching Miami just dive for loose balls. I'm watching Miami get offensive rebounds. Nobody's showing any effort from Philly. And I'm just like, this team does not want it bad enough. And that was really the outcome of it. I mean, of course, we all know Embiid was hurt, but I mean, of course, Embiid definitely did all that he could. But unfortunately, his partner in crime, the second option, Harden, just was a no-show. Harden says that he's willing to take less money for the Sixers to make something happen in the offseason. And then he said something as well that really kind of take me off. He was saying that in 2 years, I don't know exactly what he said, but he said that in 2 years he hasn't been able to get his body right. And I'm thinking like, what have you been doing in 2 years then? So it's insane to me. It's insane for Philly.
Man, I can't. I'm not. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised. This has been James Harden since 2015. His inability to perform in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But just Friday, it was just you got to guard on your shield, man. You got to guard on your shield. 0 points in the second half, and then you post game, you're like the ball didn't get back to you when you're the point guard. You're second best player on the team. So the thing is, and it's crazy, bro. I tweeted this in 2019. I was like, and I tweeted at Harden and Daryl Morey. I was like, that style of play, that step back, tween, dribble, all of that. It's not, and then even I think I probably saw it from the Kobe video when he was talking down with Rachel Nichols.
Yeah,
and I thought about it. I was like, "Yo, like, yeah, he's right. He's right. That's not gonna win you a championship." And this is a quote from Kobe, a guy that people call. We was calling him a ball hog. That's what people were calling it. That was definitely a critique. And he's saying, "Yo, this is not going to work if you want to win a championship." And he never evolved his game. No mid post game, no post ups, no middies. It's all just tween, step back threes. And if it's not going to the free throw line, he's just mid. It's just mid, and it's tough to watch. It's tough to watch, man. And I feel bad for Embiid. I mean, he broke a bone in his face, put on the mask, and was still able to go out there and try to give it his all. But next year, this is what we've seen with Embiid too. Just hasn't been able to stay healthy, unfortunately. And this hasn't been able to get out the second round yet in his career.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another mountain he's going to have to climb here shortly because the Bucks are going to get healthy and the Heat and the Celtics aren't going anywhere. So those are going to be more options. The Nets should be better next year with those three guys figure it out. Mentally, hopefully they all get that figured out. So the Nets should be better. So it's just going to be enough tall hill to climb for this Sixer team. I didn't think Doc Rivers did a great job coaching in that series. I mean, Jimmy Butler is really the only guy going off. Got to trap him, get the ball out of his hands, and make somebody else be the hero. In that series, and they just kind of let him do one-on-ones. And even Embiid came out and said, Harden is pretty much, we thought we was going to get the Houston Harden, and we just never got that.
Yeah.
We got someone completely different. So it's I don't see how they get better. I really don't.
Can we say the process is probably over? Like it never made.
Well, Embiid saved the process. He saved it.
Yeah.
He saved it.
And, I mean, everything else that's went on there has really been a flop, more or less, other than Embiid. Right? I mean, we can say that now, right? Ben Simmons, we thought was going to be something, turned out to be absolutely nothing. Well,
Marco Fultz, unfortunately.
And,
Zaire Smith.
Okafor. I mean, everything
Noel.
Well, I mean, he wasn't a flop. He was just a bad situation. He was hurt. His Kentucky boys never flop. Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll keep on moving. So, do they just? And I don't want to say blow this up and start somewhere fresh on this because this is a decent team that they have put together here. But I mean, do they move on from Harden? Do you try to get rid of him?
I feel like they should, but I don't know if they can at this point. But I want to ask y'all this though, because I'm just gonna be honest though. Even as Simmons was waiting to get traded, and he didn't play for he didn't play for the entire year with Philly. I felt like Philly was just a better team before Harden came along. You had guys like Tyrese Maxey and these guys.
Right.
In my opinion, Tyrese Maxey is the second option. In my opinion, when you give him the ball, he definitely makes things happen. Kentucky boy. So
that's right.
My question is, does Embiid really need another star right next to him? Because in my opinion, I feel like, as long as he's on the floor and as long as he's doing his thing and he has a good supporting cast, he could probably make something happen. So I don't know if he necessarily needs a second star alongside of him.
Yeah, if there's a way to get rid of the Harden deal, I think that'd be the best move for them. I agree with Nick. Let Maxey be that second option. And hopefully that'll be your 1-2 punch. Michael and I spoke about this a little bit. We spoke about this a little bit on Facebook after the game. I was calling Harden a folder and all that. And you were like, can Maxey, you weren't sure right now if he could be that guy. But he was kind of showing some flashes, like Nick said, before they got that trade for Harden. And of course he had to take a step back a little bit because, for namesake, it's still James Harden. But it's been a difficult road. It's been a difficult road for Embiid, and like I said, I mean, he's, and the thing for Harden too is he's having these calf injuries, these hamstring injuries. That's tough to be able to shoot all those threes now. That's a lot on your legs. It's a lot on your legs to shoot further from the basket going into the playoffs and expect you to keep that productivity for that long. So, am I giving him 5 years, $200 million? Not a chance. Not a chance.
If he can't get to the foul line, I feel like he becomes not a superstar now. Like if they get rid of that, calling that with the extended of the arms that they do for him to get him to the free throw line a lot, Harden, I think, is almost done. And I'm being probably a little extreme on that, but like you said, and we've talked about this before, every time he either step backs to the right, he's shooting a fadeaway or a jump shot 3-ish, or if he's going to the left, he's going to the hole trying to get fouled, scoring a layup. So if he can't get to the free throw line on going to his left, he's limited. Granted, he's an NBA player. I'm not saying I could guard him. I know that. I feel like we kind of seen the end or the prime of Harden pass. I feel like we're almost into the last leg of his career as far as being a superstar. Now, if he were to just become up and say, hey, I know I'm going to have to be like a role player here or an ISO third option, then I could see him making a more career lasting. But I don't think he's winning a championship playing the role that he does right now as a 1 or a 2 on a team.
I think he's settling into that. I think he wants to just be a point guard. He wants to be a playmaker. I mean,
yeah, that's the thing though. Like, because Harden's still a really good point or like a really good playmaker. So if you want to set him into that role where he's just like a traditional guy where he just has to dictate the offense and really set guys up, then that'll be great. But unfortunately, he's in a position now where he's expected to be the James Harden that he was in Houston. So I think you're right. Maybe he's past that prime. I'm not gonna say that he turns into a role player, but I think that he can still be a great factor for a team. But I just don't know if he could be like a top 2 option for a championship team.
Not a chance.
I'm gonna throw this out here just because the 2 names are in my head. If you had to pick a player right now, would you pick Drew Holiday or Harden?
Drew Holiday.
That's your 2.
That's my number 2. And
yeah.
At least defensively, like defensive-wise, I at least know that I'm going to get something from Drew Holiday.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Drew, definitely. And that's the thing, too, with Harden. It's like he doesn't even play defense or do anything on that end either. It's like –
So that right there kind of tells me that he's not the superstar caliber anymore if you're taking Drew Holiday over him. So, Drew Holiday is the third option on that team.
I had already said that I would make Tyrese Maxey my true second option. So
really.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah. Just to think over these past few years, I've been arguing with so many people on Twitter. They were saying that Harden is better all time than Dwayne Wade. I was like, yo, y'all are bugging.
Man, some were saying better than Kobe.
It was wild.
It was wild, man.
See, here's the thing. You got spectators who watch the sport, and if somebody does something nice with the ball, they're like, oh, that's amazing. They forget about the other side of playing defense and everything. Like, to me, if you can have the number 1 offensive player on the team, but he'd be like the 50th ranked on defense, he's not that great of a player. He's just one-sided. Like, if you could get a guy that is two-way, as we say, a top 10 on both things, top 10 offense, top 10 defense, that would be a better player than the number 1 offense and the number 50 defense in one player. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
So, I feel like our casuals just see the highlight plays. James Harden probably in the one move or one
They
play.
mostly just look at the numbers because I'll be real, Harden is really not even that skilled in my opinion.
He really only – and I hate to always say it, but he has 2 moves. It's between the legs, step back, the walk to the right, and shoots a 3. Or lowers his shoulder, not saying charge, just gets past the guy, drives down the left side, shoots left-handed layup. That's really all he does. And he looks slow doing it.
Sorry. That's it, man.
I might have to get me a cough drop. I'm about to have a cough fest here on y'all.
No, you're good.
But
it's tough, man. It's tough for him to be your second best guy. You can't win a championship with him as your second best guy. It's impossible. It's just impossible. We've seen 7 years of inconsistent play when it matters in the postseason. So I just can't. You can't have that be your.
Wade is the greater all time, but I'd rather have Harden on my team. That does. I'm not trying to call you out.
Explain yourself. Explain yourself, my
good guy. If Wade is greater, then why would you rather have Harden? Because
explain yourself, please.
We're gonna need some more.
I don't get that at
Warriors
all.
in 4 too. I mean, Wade could take over a game. Harden could take over a game, but Wade won a championship. I mean, right there. I mean, he took over.
Let's be honest here. Like, during that Big Three era, it was clear that LeBron was the best player. But I remember
I was even going back with Shaq.
Oh, D Wade was by far the best player between him and Shaq, and like during those times. But like, I'm thinking about like the Big Three era, and I'm thinking about those series that they had against Indiana. I saw D Wade go for about 30, for about 40 points, in crucial playoff games. So even though Wade took a step back during that time, when the team needed him most, he definitely did step up to a degree. Harden, I haven't seen that as of yet. Like, obviously, in Game 6, but even before, honestly, like I remember when Houston played San Antonio, I think it was like 2016 or whatever. He had like 10 points in a elimination game, and this was a game where San Antonio didn't even have Kawhi. So it was like, what I'm saying? Like Harden has a history of these games where it's just like he just kind of disappears as time goes on, in my opinion.
Well, what about the Warriors and the Rockets? When they had Chris Paul, didn't he have like 5 points that game? Harden have like single-digit points in that Game 7 series?
I can't remember that, but I'm sure everybody remembers, Houston going like, 0 for 27 from the three-point line in that game.
So I think Chris Paul got hurt that series. With James Harden still there, he'll be the man. He'll take over, and he was a no-show. I kind of want to look up stats, but I don't even know what year it was or anything like that. But
I think it was 2018 because that was the year where I think we repeated that year.
Okay. 2018, you got 2019, when no Kevin Durant, and they lost to the Warriors.
Yep.
I thought that was the window for them to get past the Warriors that year. Weren't able to do it. Spurs debacle. Harden was terrible in that game against San Antonio.
You can even date it back to when OKC played Miami in the finals.
That's where it all started. I mean, he had the great Western Conference Finals against the Spurs that year. He played out of his mind. Everybody's like, "Yo, this team could give Miami problems," and he just was a no-show.
I remember Kendrick Perkins was on All the Smoke, and he was saying that Harden was dealing with like all that Miami stuff down there, so that's why he didn't. That's why he wasn't able to perform well. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. But again, I mean, if you're that great guy, you should be able to do both. Have your fun, and then when it matters, go out there and do what you got to do. I'm pretty sure there's been plenty of LeBron, I'm sure, on their day off or even before games, they've had some fun, and then when it's time to play, it's time to play. And for Harden, he just doesn't do that. Yeah.
So many things in my head. I seen a document or a clip. It was on something on Instagram. Maybe it's talking about Michael Jordan, how he would actually stay up till like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and still be up at 8 in the next morning to actually practice and gambling and all this stuff. Some people just can handle the nightlife and some can't. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So, who we think match up with the Heat and the Celtics? Did we give our predictions or anything?
I'm going to say Celtics in 7.
Celtics in 7?
Same.
Well, I'm going Heat in 6 because, that is my team. And I do think the all-around defense from 1 through 5 from Miami can actually give Tatum a lot to work with here. They'll switch every pick. They'll switch on all those there, and I think that'll actually cause some more ruckus.
But that Boston defense is tough, too. That Boston defense is tough.
I'm dying here, boys.
Yeah.
So do
y'all think either team will score over 100 points in this series?
Yeah, they will. They definitely will.
First one to get 100 probably gets the
wins. Yeah. Because I know
like.
our last episode, me and CJ, we said we didn't think that Philly would score 100 points in any of the games against Miami because Embiid was out. And I think every game they lost, they were under 100 points.
That's wild. But let me ask y'all this because CJ pointed out earlier about Jimmy Butler having such a great series against Philly. Considering that that they are going up against a tough Boston defense, do y'all see him like making the same impact in this series compared to against Philly?
I think he has to. I mean, he is the leader on that team. Like he has to. Now, it's going to be different to me. I don't think he has to have the 30 points or whatever to lead the team. I think he's got to have the crunch points. He's got to have like the fourth quarter points. Like, okay, guys, it's crunch time now. give me the ball. Let me go get 10 in this quarter. I think that's where I'm really going to watch more of Butler taking over during those times. I just really think both teams are going to depend on their defense to cause easy buckets, cause some turnovers, get some easy points off of that. And I think that's going to be really the pivotal point on who wins. And like even we said, whoever scores 100 first probably wins. But Butler, I think, will lead at the beginning of the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth quarter, where I think it's most important that he takes over.
Yeah, I agree. I would say that you would hope he gets to 30 because they're going to need it. They're going to need it, man. This is a hard fought team. It needs to be an efficient 30. Can't be a 10 for 27. 32. It needs to be efficient. And those other guys Bam has to be big time in this series. I mean, again, I didn't really see too much from him. The first 2 games without Embiid, he played like a monster. When Embiid came back, kind of came back to earth there. So now you got Horford. Now you got Horford on you now. Robert Williams, Grant Williams. Those are dudes on you now. So, how are you going to perform? I feel the same way between him and Ayton a little bit. There's times where he looks excellent and he looks like, this guy could be, really good and could possibly be a second best player on the championship team. And then there's other times where you just don't see that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays in this Eastern Conference Finals. They were able to do that. Remember that he had that crazy block on Tatum in the bubble. Eastern Conference Finals. He made some big plays in that time. Interested to see if he could be able to, duplicate that type of dominance against Boston. But I just feel like, again, I think it's Boston's year. I think they've been playing great basketball since the new year, really. Since the new 2022, they've been playing some of the best basketball in the NBA. And Tatum is right. He's trying to establish himself as top 5, top 7, however you want to put it. He took out KD, took out Giannis. I mean, if he could take out Butler and then, whoever comes out
that's
of the
a tough first 2 rounds.
Yeah. And
as
if he could take out Butler,
seed as well. Exactly.
If you could take out Butler, if you take out Butler and then whoever wins between Luka and Steph, that's an all-timer for postseason, and you got to start putting him in that conversation as one of the best players in the NBA.
I'll be honest, man. Like as a Warriors fan, I definitely believe that we are going to get past the series against Dallas, but I'm not too confident about Boston. I'm not too confident about playing them.
What about Miami?
Miami, I can see it. I think Miami will be tough, but if say for instance, the Heat and the Warriors did play, I would say the Warriors would probably win in 6. But Boston's different, man. I'm sorry, Boston is different. In my opinion,
they can't do anything wrong. I really feel like they just cannot do anything wrong right now.
Besides that Game 5 collision, with Marcus Smart, lost the ball at the end of the game. But besides that, they've been pretty good to say the least.
Right.
Yeah. What up? Yeah, Tatum, man, he's 100%. Tatum and Luka. And I was thinking about this too. Jordan signed Luka and he signed Tatum to Team Jordan a couple of years ago. He got Zion too, and I think Zion next year is gonna be right there with those 3 guys. Very soon is gonna establish himself. But yeah, Team Jordan right now is looking. Jordan knows what he's doing. Just put it that way. I mean, you got 2 of the best young players in the NBA showing out. Both of those guys in the East in their conference finals. It's if you're a Team Jordan guy, I'm sure Mike is already, he's already reigning in money, but even more is coming in now. You got to get both of those guys some signature shoes, man. It's time.
Oh, without question. You got to make it happen. Man, speaking of shoes, did I hear about Nike possibly ending their contract with Kyrie?
Yep. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird because they're not sure if he's going to play basketball long term. And I was watching his Twitch a little bit. He's been on Twitch the last few days. Kind of talking.
Got some free time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that definitely got some free time, and he was talking to the viewers. He was like, "Just give me a year," and of course, everybody's going to talk about that. 2017, 2018 with the Celtics. and how that transpired, and he was breaking things down. You guys get a chance to watch that on YouTube or maybe on Twitch, check that out and see it from his perspective, man. I think it's good, players coming out and, on platforms and, speaking about how they feel about certain things and not just letting the media control the narrative.
Oh yeah, without question. I saw a few clips of him. He was talking about like his I think he was talking about the first time he met Kobe and stuff like that, and then he was talking like some other stuff as well. So Kyrie got time on his hands, man.
For sure. For sure.
I'm trying to think right now. The only true, look how young our finals is looking like right now for the NBA. You got Steph, who's the main one on that team. I think he's almost close to 30s.
He's 34. 30, yeah, 34. 34.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I was thinking 32. So you got Steph, who's getting up there. Luka, 23. Tatum, 25.
Tatum's around 24. I think he's 24.
25. You've got Butler, who's probably 27. He's probably one of the older ones. I guess maybe.
I think Butler might be in his 30s.
Butler's 32.
Yeah, 32. Okay, so Butler, but that team is young.
Yeah, Bam is probably like 25, 26.
Yeah.
So this is kind of looking like a change of, I'm going to say, scenery or a passing of a torch for the finals. Excuse me. And I'm kind of liking it. Have you all enjoyed this NBA season? It's a lot of our younger guys are stepping up and be filling in a lot of like Kevin Durant first round out. LeBron James not even in it. It's looking like a new era generation for the NBA. We didn't even have Zion all year.
I think the NBA needed this, honestly, because, obviously we all know, like, throughout that whole stretch of the 2010s, it was LeBron getting to the finals every single year. So it was like, we never really got a chance to really see, like, a lot of these young guys get, like, an opportunity to really showcase themselves and really make a deep playoff run. So now we're going into a new era where it's not LeBron, it's not KD. Steph is still in it, which, is good, but, it's not the same players anymore. Now we got Tatum, we got Luka,
I'll even say Hero in there with that. I think it's fair to say assistant of the year.
Hero, and hopefully Jokic can possibly get far in the playoffs as well. But we're definitely going into a new era. We saw last year with Giannis when Giannis was able to get his first chip. So it's coming into a new age now, in my opinion, and I like it.
It's great. It's great. Young stars, all those guys you mentioned, 27 or younger. So we're going to see those guys for the next few years, and we're going to see who's going to be the best of the best in this era, the 2020s era. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Sorry, read the comment.
So, do we give Tatum that superstar name already, or should we still give it time?
I'm going to wait this next series. I want to watch this next series.
46 on Friday. we didn't even really talk about that. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Closeout too. Was that on the road or was that home? That was at home.
That was on the road. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was in Milwaukee. That was an amazing game from him to for them to even bring it back to Boston and close it out today. So superstar, yeah. He led his team to the Eastern Conference Finals. Got it. Yeah, sure. Put him in that. You can put him in that, and that's the word. Word superstar. It's just it is being thrown around. Too loosely today. I would say. You ask people what's the definition of it. You get different type of answers. So, I would say right there on the cusp. Yeah. He's literally. If he gets to the finals this year, yeah. You can't deny it.
I agree with that.
Sorry, I'm reading on our color cast here. Corey said that John Morant's tweeting out the Suns look shook. Thoughts?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
John Morant's the Twitter king.
Yeah, he's starting to. It's crazy. People love the Grizzlies in the regular season, and then once the playoffs started, same thing with the Suns too.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just it's not that many teams now to talk about. And casuals and some fans just picking one or two teams and just jump on, and it seems to be like the Suns and the Grizzlies are kind of being those two teams. Of course, John's going to talk trash because he feels like one, he got hurt. He feels like if he was playing in those games, they would have beat them, and I think they would have.
This is exactly why the Warriors just stress me out so much, bro. Because Ja didn't even play in those last 3 games, and we struggled to even get past this series.
And let's be honest, he grabbed his knee.
Number 2 seed for a reason.
He grabbed his knee.
I don't consider that like as the play that like got him hurt. I mean, I get it, grabbing the knee was uncalled for, but I don't know if it was like considered dirty, like, and that was the play that like got him hurt, in my opinion.
I don't either, but I mean, it made me think, like, was it on purpose that he grabbed it? Like, was it incidental? It didn't look too incidental.
That whole series was chippy, though. That whole series was chippy. It was physical.
Or it was.
Even from like game 1, with Draymond getting ejected, and then of course Dylan Brooks getting suspended for game 3. So from the jump, it was chippy. But I like it though.
I do too. Makes it entertaining.
Yeah, slow motion makes everything look worse. I mean, if we slow mode, this episode, it looked crazy. Looking at the way we're talking and stuff. So when you throw things in slow mo, everybody looks like the bad guy. And that's just happened. I don't think it was malicious. I don't think it was intentional. It's just a part of the game. It's just a part of the game. I mean, what Dylan Brooks did wasn't a part of the game. Smacking the dude upside the head, and it was a bad steal attempt. Yeah,
it cost him in the rest of the series. Gary Payton II.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for 100%. So he just Draymond. I mean, it was kind of up and down, and to me at first, on first look, it looked like he was trying to hold him up, and then kind of, and again looking at the replay in slow mo, it looks really bad, but man, I don't think it was malicious. It's unfortunate. We've seen injuries. The Bucks had injuries. They don't have Middleton. Unfortunately, the Grizzlies were one of those teams as well.
So quick question. Are we getting a championship team out of the East or out of the West?
Say the East.
I don't even know.
I'm going to go East too, really. Because, even though Memphis did look better without Ja most of the year in the season too, you do raise up a good point as far as not having Ja. Golden State did struggle there. Excuse me. And when it comes to the finals, defense prevails quite a bit, and both Miami and the Celtics have great defense. So I'm actually going to go with possibly the winner will be coming out of the East.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Nick can't say it.
I can't go. I mean, my team's in the West. Like, I can't go against the West. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to look bad, but I will say it's not going to be easy because both of those teams in the East are some great defensive teams. So, like I said, I expect Golden State to get out of the West. I feel like they can definitely get out of the West, but whether it's Miami or Boston, particularly Boston, that tough defense that they're going to be going up against is not going to be easy. Like, especially with Steph running around, like coming off the screens and everything, like this is gonna be a different level of defense going into the finals.
Yeah, I just think the Celtics, they have the wings to get it done against either of those teams in the West. If they were to get past Miami, you got Smart, Brown, Tatum, Grant Williams is versatile. Horford can be out there on switches and try to get it done. So they got the size. They can rebound, and that's something that the Warriors struggle with. They struggle with the size. I just feel like it's obviously they got to beat Miami, and that's not going to be easy because we said they did beat them in that bubble year. I mean, relatively. I mean, they didn't have Horford that year, which I think is a big factor. But
and Ime Udoka is a better coach than Brad Stevens, in my opinion.
For sure. And I think that was versatile wings. That's what you need to win in the NBA. That's what you need today. And I think they match up well against Golden State. Pretty Horford on Draymond. It's a pretty good matchup right there.
Okay, so I'm hearing the Heat's winning. Okay, got it. What I love to hear. So
as a Warriors fan, I'm gonna say I'm scared. I'm scared. Like, I haven't felt this way probably since even before the championships when, like, we were young in, like, 2013, 2014, when we were trying to establish ourselves. I don't know what the outcome's going to be this year for us.
It's interesting for Steph, man. I mean, he could kind of dead this narrative right here. Because I feel like, yes, they won in 2015, folded in 2016. And then you get KD, and then you become dynastic. So if he's able to get this one without KD, it puts him in a definitely different class. And if he's able to get that Finals MVP,
oh yeah, definitely.
It puts him in a category where Kind of, you got to dead some of that criticism that's kind of been hanging over him over the last couple of years. I know they got hurt, but after KD, even when KD came back and tried to play, it looked like they was about to run away and beat the Raptors. KD had 12 points in the first quarter in that game before he blew his Achilles out. So, I mean, then after they lost him, and I know they lost Clay as well with the ACL. If they could stay healthy and do it with this nuclear core again and get another championship, you're gonna have to throw them in that top 10 ever.
I have to.
Yeah.
I'm just glad. I think this season or this playoffs right now, there's a different sense of a narrative, and I think it's more refreshing. Like, we don't have the LeBron's team and whatever, And again, of course, I am a hater on that, but it's something different that we get to hear now.
I'm happy about 100% because like I said, I'll be honest, like the Warriors and Cavs met in the finals for 4 straight years. What is it?
What do you think about that? Honestly,
no, I disagree. 100%. Steph averaged around like 27, 28 a game that series. I think it should have belonged to him. I guess I can understand why they gave it to Iguodala because once Steve Kerr inserted Iguodala in the starting lineup in Game 4, that was where the series changed because you got to remember, like, we were down 2-1 and Dellavedova was just locking Steph up. The whole narrative was like, oh, Steph can't really do nothing in the finals, so Steph can't take this type of defense. Then all of a sudden Iguodala gets inserted into the starting lineup, and then that's when everything changed for us.
But still, like, he was guarding LeBron. Like, that was basically his purpose, was to guard LeBron. And LeBron was having 40, 10, and 10s, it seemed like. And like, oh, he may win the finals and still lose. Let's give it to the guy who was trying to shut him down. Like,
I agree.
It
like,
makes sense to me.
I would have given it to Steph. I would have never given it to Iguodala. Like,
okay, I'm with you.
They announced it. I was like, you know what? Like, I was like, yo, like, this is weird, but a part of me understands it because once he was inserted into the starting lineup, that's when things did change for Golden State because we were down 2-1 going into Game 4, and then that's when Steve Kerr made that adjustment. So I can understand it from that perspective, but I can make an argument to say that Steph should have won it in 2018, in my opinion, because I feel like he was the better player in 2018 compared to KD who won it. Only reason why KD won it was because he dropped 43 in that Game 3, and I think that game Steph shot horribly in that Game 3, and then of course we all know that KD hit that big time shot to end the game. So that was, in my opinion, that was the reason why KD won the Finals MVP was because of that Game 3. But besides that, Game 1, 2, and 4, in my opinion, Steph was the better player.
That's interesting.
Logan said Steph's first tweet if the Warriors win the chip. Yo, Kevin, where you at?
Yeah, it's so weird now. Everybody's like, when Kevin went there, it's, oh, you're weak and yada, yada, yada. And then
exactly
as soon as he leaves and gets swept, he should have never left. It's just so, these basketball fans are so, they love to flip flop and they act like 6 years ago it never happened. They call him the weakest superstar of all time, Stephen A. Smith. And then, now, last Thursday, he's like, he should have never left Golden State. And it's like, it's disgusting. Maybe those lazy takes.
It's wild to me.
Haters are going
wild to me.
I got to take. I feel I know we we kind of try to steer away from the both L's. But geez. I feel like, man, the way it's looking right now, I just don't see. I don't see Bron getting another chip, man.
Oh no, it's over. It's over.
I don't see it. It's tough for me
now. He'll orchestrate something where either everyone's traded or he gets traded so he can go play with Bron.
The Lakers don't have assets, man. That's
Clock's
the thing.
ticking,
like, and in my opinion, like you're gonna have to run it with the same team, practically the same team going into next year, and who knows who's gonna be the coach next year. So the Lakers ain't gonna be good no time soon, in my opinion.
Who's that gonna be? Atkinson? I think that's probably the most.
LeBron, he's going to coach.
Of course.
He's just going to coach too. He's going to play coach.
They were saying that Phil Handy was interested in becoming a coach, but I don't know if Phil Handy will be the coach for that Laker team. And I love Phil Handy. I love what he does as far as training and everything. But I don't know if he should be the coach for that team, especially with his first year being a head coach.
Get Phil. Yeah, Phil out of retirement.
Phil's like 76. Not happening. He's not doing road games. He's not going on road games. I remember, man, people were talking about
Kyrie.
People were talking about, when Phil was the president of the Knicks, he should come down and be the coach, and he pretty much deaded that because he didn't want to do road games, and he was like 70 back then, so now he's 76. So I don't see him even. That it's just dysfunctional. It's dysfunctional. I mean, Jeannie's really I guess she owns the team by title, but just not by decision making, because it looks like Rambis has a hold over it now. I mean, I get it. You want to have a team around you, help you out.
So there's a rumor that came out a few days ago. It said that Phil Jackson said that he would want LeBron traded and that the Lakers keep Westbrook.
I don't believe that. I
don't know if it's true or not, but that was what came out a few days ago.
I think it's true, actually, because I think Phil would say something like that to try to lower LeBron compared to Michael Jordan, and that would probably.
And a lot of people know. A lot of people may not remember, but like LeBron and Phil Jackson, they actually have have had issues in the past before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the whole posse thing. Yeah, 2014 with the posse comment in his book. But I don't believe it. You trade LeBron to get what?
Stephen A. also said it a few weeks ago as well, and that was wild to me.
It's lazy. It's just lazy. It's lazy. What do you get in return?
If LeBron gets traded, let's just hypothetically.
Where does he go?
I mean, who has what you're probably asking for him?
But it's so easy for these guys to say that, and then when the follow up comes of that, what I just said. They have no answer for that. So all they can say is, trade LeBron. But nobody asked them, okay, for what? Okay, break it down for me.
I mean, if you were to trade LeBron, you would have to get 3 first-round picks and the superstar in return, right?
I'm not. I mean, yeah, essentially, right. That would have to be it. But I wouldn't do that.
No, I mean that's. But everyone
have AD as your first option.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
A superstar with AD and Westbrook. With 3 first rounds?
You talk about a team not getting into the playoffs. They're not even sniffing the play-in. I'm sorry.
If AD plays, yes. But, he's day-to-day.
Exactly. Day-to-day Davis.
Then again, it just becomes it just adds more to what everybody says when you get LeBron. It'll just be the opposite. Now you're losing assets. You're losing assets and draft picks to try to get them. And then when you get them, you lose picks and you lose assets. So it's like... It's just the same thing, man. It's just rinse and repeat.
I'm trying to think of a team that would actually trade for, or at least a playoff team that could make a trade actually work. If there is a hypothetical LeBron trade, I don't know if LeBron could get Miami for Jimmy Butler.
Why would y'all do that?
I mean, I don't want to. I'm just saying, as far as teams, I mean, we have at least the depth of players that we could trade with.
LeBron for James Harden.
There we go.
I'm just kidding.
I would do that if I'm Philly. But
Philly.
Yeah, if I'm Philadelphia, if I'm the Sixers, I would do that. But I mean, the Lakers shouldn't sign. Why would they sign up for that? That's a terrible trade on the Lakers side.
That's disgusting, man.
Freaking Harden back.
Yeah, LeBron in Miami does. I mean, LeBron left Miami for more control because Pat Riley runs that. So he wouldn't. I mean. Yeah, he won 2 after leaving Pat. So I guess, it's kind of 50-50. Not 4. You're right.
Not 5.
Yeah. The Nets for Simmons and 2 picks? Nah. That's like the most 2K built team ever. And it wouldn't even work out.
You talk about day to day. Simmons just missed this whole year.
The Lakers,
him and Anthony Davis. Oh.
LeBron and KD and Kyrie would not work out.
Nope, not working.
Steve Nash coaching, not a chance.
Oh yeah, no,
not a chance. That's a 2K team, Logan. That's a 2K built team.
I think the only way he gets traded is if there's a Bronny pick in there somehow, and that's this year.
That's the only way he probably will ever get traded because we all know that LeBron wants to play with Bronny, so that's why I can only see it happening within a few years. Because I mean, let's say for instance, Bronny gets picked by Sacramento or something, then I could see that happening. But LeBron's in LA. LeBron's staying in LA.
Yo,
that's where he wants to be.
Y'all think LeBron's gonna go to the Kings if Come on. I don't think so. I think it's
Bronny will go wherever
LeBron said. Yeah, that was saying LeBron said he wants to play with his son. He didn't say against his son. He said with his son.
I mean, Mike Brown. He coached Mike Brown, and I mean that could be a nice little story there. But if he goes to the Kings at 41 or something like that, man, that wow.
Somehow,
I think there's gonna be some. I think there's gonna be some talks behind the scenes of let's. Talking to some teams.
Wow.
Right. Yes. 100%. 100%. Definitely, bro. Definitely.
LeBron all of a sudden makes some kind of NBA promotional that's like is the next Space Jams 3 and it promotes NBA teams like galore and they make $1 billion off of it. Oh, Bronny somehow ended up on my team, guys.
He gets word that Bronny's going to the Kings. It's dead in there.
LeBron might buy the team just so that they couldn't pick him. Be like, no, we're not going there.
That would be smart. That would be smart. That would be what you should do.
They gonna try to mix up the ping pong balls and during the lottery.
Lottery next week. Well, this week coming up.
Actually, yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Lakers would have one ping pong ball in there, and it'd say Bronny was going number 1. Be like, the Lakers. Wow, the first pick. Yeah.
I don't even know if Bronny goes number 1. Bronny might be at least like top 20.
I mean, okay. Can we go into that a little bit? Like Bronny's only averaging 6 points a game, right?
I don't know his averages honestly, but I think Bronny's good in my opinion. Like, I know a lot of people are saying that he's not a true top prospect. In my opinion, Bronny's really good from what I've seen.
Okay, see, because I haven't watched him play, but I've heard a lot of people say like he's not even averaging double digits. But I mean, he's a junior, I think, right now still. So I mean, he's still probably on.
Yeah, people forget, he had I think he had an MCL surgery or whatever as well. So I mean, he's also been through some injuries as well. So
yeah, he hasn't been great. I mean, it's tough. You got that name, and it's so tough. You gotta rock with that name for the rest of your life. It's a lot of pressure.
Here you go, CJ. This is for you. Bringing it up. Bronny to the Knicks.
I mean,
would you like that?
We gotta see how things play out, man. We gotta see how things play out. We gotta see how. So I think Bronny. Yeah. Bronny has 2 years. Senior year in high school, and then the freshman year probably gonna be one and done. Or maybe they might change it to come out of high school. Yeah.
I was going to ask you: do you think he goes to college 1 year? Do you think he actually just goes G League or overseas?
He could. Yeah, he could do that. He could do that. I can see the G League route or college.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he has 2 years. Yeah, I mean his first couple years, Amari Bailey was the guy over there in Sierra Canyon. He's about to go to UCLA. He's gonna be really good. So now this year is kind of his team. He's playing pretty well in the AAU right now against, in this AAU circuit, it's a lot of top guys that's going to be in his class that are going to come out and really play well. So he's kind of holding his own from that aspect. So I think he's going to be a good player. He's going to be a really good player.
Okay. I'm down with that. I haven't been able to watch him too much. AAU, it's a whole new thing. I just don't catch it too much. Guys, we're an hour and 20-some minutes into this. It's 11 o'clock my time. I think you guys are East Coast too, right?
Yes. I'm Central. So it's 10 o'clock.
Okay. Got anything else y'all want to talk about? Next week, I didn't even realize it's the lottery on that. Excited to see where that goes. We'll have to start diving in a little bit of talks here soon.
Oh, yeah, into the draft, yeah.
Drafts and stuff.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I just want to make just that last point. I mean, this is going to be it's going to be a really good draft. I think it's going to be a really good draft. I think the Pistons, if they hit a home run with whoever they get, man, I think in a couple years with Cade, Bay,
I've been saying that, man.
If they get that next guy, they could be really good.
I agree 100%. Definitely agree.
What do y'all think about Stewart too? Isaiah Stewart.
Like Stewart, I think he's a power forward.
He's nice. He's nice.
He's the one that went for LeBron, right?
Yeah, definitely has to control his temperament. But besides that, He's a pretty good talent. But honestly, Detroit, they got a lot of nice talent. Cade is there, Killian Hayes, Sadiq Bey, who had a 50-point game in the season. So Detroit has a lot of talent over there. It's just all about how they can really construct that roster and really make things happen going forward.
Yep, they're a home run pick away and a coach away. I think Casey's a foundational guy. He's not a guy he's not a coach that's gonna help you win a championship. He's a good developmental type coach.
Who y'all got going number one overall?
Probably Paulo.
I'm gonna say Chet.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it depends on the team. It depends on the team.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think if the Pistons get the number one pick,
I wanted it to be Jabari Smith, but unfortunately, considering Auburn, I think they got out in the second round. I think that kind of cost them, that number one pick.
It might hurt him. It might hurt him a little bit. He's really good too. And yeah, I think that's the top three for sure.
I've not bought into Apollo. I don't know why. I'm hesitant on him for some reason.
He's pretty skilled. I like him.
Yeah, he's
I've been
skilled.
covering him since high school.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not a great 3-point shooter right now, but he has a nice mid-range game. He knows how to use his size. He's going to be right. Goes to the right team, right situation. He's going to be a really, really good player. Really good player, man. Same thing for Jabari. They're kind of similar in terms of their size. Chet is like a unit, could be a unicorn type. If you could put some size on, because he's going to get babied. Sure. So he's going to have to put some muscle on. If he could work out, he could be a superstar for sure. Because he has an ability to switch out and block shots, play defense, knock down shots on the outside. Could be a nice two-way young player, but he has to put on some muscle. He can't play at that size in the NBA. It's impossible.
Oh yeah, without question. Yeah, definitely. Even for Jabari Smith as well. Like he definitely has to put on that muscle.
Yep.
All right, guys. I believe we'll wrap it on up here. Everyone, thank you all for watching. Nick, go ahead and give all your shout-outs real quick, and we'll go CJ and on around here.
Yes, follow me on Twitter at NickAndreATR. Obviously, I'm very active on NBA Twitter there, so yeah, definitely check me out. You'll see me tweet out some very pissed off Warriors tweets, after Friday night. But yeah, definitely check me out. And I have an announcement, man. I made a TikTok, and it's fun.
Oh,
it's pretty fun. I've been addicted to it all weekend, man. But yeah, follow me on TikTok.
Wait. Are you making content, or
yeah.
are you just like?
I have 2 videos out there now. I have 2 videos out now, and I have more coming soon. It's pretty fun and it's pretty addicting. I've been on it pretty much all weekend. But yeah, follow me on TikTok at NickAndreATR. Check out my content there.
There we go.
Nice. Garda Podcast, Garda Pod on IG, linktree.com/ follow all my links for everything that I'm doing. Obviously, Count the Bucket here on Sundays at 9:30. The Hard Count with Anthony Conover every Tuesdays at 9:30. And also Twitch, CJ versus the World. Gaming, doing some 2K, some Madden, talking sports, just like how we're doing here. So check me out, guys. Thank you guys for listening.
And of course, follow me on Twitter with MDLawson00, Linktree in the bio as well. Thursday nights, 9 p.m., 9:30 Eastern time, we do Backstop Banter with Connie as well. And, of course, this show, follow us on everything that we've got going on podcasts and the whole YouTube that we've got. Follow us on Twitter at CountBucketUSN as well. Guys, appreciate y'all so much. Let's see here. Pull this back up. Have a good one.